I've lost my girlfriend. Hey, and welcome to another video about thrifting in Japan. Today we are in Kinji. Directly in Kinji, in one of the malls in Tokyo. Kinji is a massive second-hand store, and you can find them all over the place in Tokyo. And right here you can see the actual section that was actually with vintage jeans and denim and hats and all jackets like this one here. It's actually pretty cool, to be honest. The prices were quite high, that's what I noticed, but you know, if you want something unique, then you know, by all means, this is where you can find it. That skirt there is quite cute, and the M&M man. They had loads of shoes, loads of denim jackets and denim jeans. You know, as usual, I'm always looking for a pair of Evisu jeans, which I can never find for some reason or another. Here behind the glass cabinet, they had some red Jordans, some red denim, you know, vintage pieces from Levis and other denim that's quite hard to get nowadays. Obviously you got your jumpers and all other you know, all sorts of jackets, denim jackets, leather jackets, and the prices I mean are reasonable if you're looking for something quite unusual, you know, like 30-40 pound. And because it's vintage and you can't really find it anywhere else, you know, I think that's a good price. The leather jackets were a little bit more expensive. Some started at about 50 quid and they went up to about 150 pounds, but they are vintage and you can't find them. So like this jacket, you know, denim is a big thing in Japan, especially where it's made in Japan, because the quality of the denim is much thicker than the actual European size, the actual European jeans, because they use more material, so therefore thicker threads and thicker stitching. You know, like the cross threads are actually more rather than less. It's what makes the jeans thicker, the actual denim. So here, this shirt caught my eye, and I actually want this shirt because it's really nice. The color is perfect, and the collar, vintage collar, you know, I just hope it fits me, to be honest. It's not a bad price. It's about £40, which I don't mind paying because, you know, the denim is actually quite thick on it. And look at the pockets. The pockets are cut like the old vintage Levi's with the arches in them. You don't find that nowadays. They're just like a V, and they're not the same quality. Obviously, this one was quite thick. And I also like the globe up there. Obviously they had some other items like the green jackets on the left hand side, which are probably just like mass produced. So you know, obviously they work around with all the denim that they have in there, and they don't really just waste anything. They remake items. Like, look at that. Now that fur collar there is banging. Yeah, they concentrate mostly on vintage items. Always looking for some overalls, you know, like the Carhartt or Levi's, but dungareens or overalls, one of the two, but I can never find any. This jacket here is wicked, but just too small, obviously. You know, some of the sizes on these jackets are either too big or too small. Obviously, you got your little basketball shirts. That's a big thing in Japan too, basketball. You know, the old baseball shirts and the vintage American gear. You can always find vintage American gear. That's what everyone's searching for. But apart from that, they've got a lot of little toys. As you can see here, you know, the old Snoop toys. Anything you can think of, they have. Some of the Garfield toys are quite cute, you know, like obviously look, you can see the American flag there, so it's basically like a vintage store Americanized in a way or another. I keep seeing this Stasi make everywhere. I don't really know much about it, to be honest, but you know, I don't particularly like it. I'm looking for vintage items, you know, vintage hats, vintage jeans, vintage anything that looks really nice, and you know, and so on. They got the antique section here, Betty Boop, and obviously they got crochet hats, vintage t-shirts, vintage Mickey t-shirts, but most of these t-shirts come from like Disneyland, so probably just tourist pieces. Nothing's really like authentic merchandise. It's just basically what you can buy in you know, the theme parks and so on. At this point I'm actually buying this shirt because it's really nice. So yeah, I've decided. Huh? And to be more exact, The actual cost of this t-shirt wasn't even a t-shirt, it was a shirt. The actual cost of this shirt was actually £31 and 13 pence, which is about 6,000 yen. So for £31, I think you know, I'm grabbing myself a bargain. Consider it's in really, really good condition. It's a big size as well, which you can never find big size denim shirts. Well, I can never find big shirts made out of good denim. So collection, like that's a vintage 1970s there, the dark blue one. You can tell by the colors. You know, they've got like this jacket here. That's like more of a modern jacket, but it's still vintage look. You know, the denim, you can tell straight away is Japanese denim by the thickness and the way it hangs. I mean, I've been to some stores and the material is just extremely costly. Some nice overalls. The Carhartt section is further up. These are more like jean section, but nothing branded, so no Levi's or anything like that. More like Brutus jeans, if anyone knows what Brutus jeans were all about. But they're quite expensive. They were around 40, 45 pounds for like some of these overalls, and they're all small. This finisher t-shirt, this was a Nike vintage finisher t-shirt. That was probably in one of the games or something, because I searched it up on eBay. I keep seeing all these prices, and mostly like in the same region, 30, 35, 40, 45, especially for some of the vintage stuff. So Betty Boop hanging quite nice right there. It's actually a nice one. These weren't expensive, and they're obviously nothing vintage, but they did have some cool toys around. So this is where we're searching for the t-shirt to see how much it was on eBay. It's actually 1999 this top was made, and it's actually worth just £17.99, which is actually the same price that it's in there. So not bad. Still find them on eBay. That's the good thing, I suppose. By the way, this store online doesn't work in the EU anymore since the Brexit or whatever. They've changed it. Now, how many of you have seen a black Snoop before? I've never seen a black Snoop toy. Very unusual, but it was really nice. I would have bought that actually if I could have had space in my luggage. Obviously I didn't. Look at these crazy toys. Japan's known for its toys. I mean, you can find some seriously weird toys in Japan, but the other half keeps finding these vintage t-shirts that I don't really want from Bayern Munich since I'm a Liverpool supporter. So if you all don't like me being a Liverpool supporter, I don't care. Right, let's get back to the clothing items. There are some unique items in this place, and they're behind glass number 1. Here we have some branded, really expensive stuff. Couldn't quite make out what that was. These scarves were all designer scarves, and all these Louis Vuitton bags. The prices were around £1,000 to £2,000 for those suitcases. And there, right at the back, vintage denim. Really vintage, like the biggies for Levi's, and some unusual stuff. Look at these trainers, like what the hell are these? Nah, these Bape. I'm always looking for good Bape stuff. It's very, very cheap in Japan. It's not really expensive unless it's a collab, and that was about 20 quid. So 20 quid for a Bape, I think that's okay, right? I mean, it's nothing really, you can't go wrong with that. A selection of Burberry and Patagonia. To be honest with you, I'm doing this voiceover because the actual shop had some loud music playing, and obviously I can't get a copyright strike on my YouTube channel because I won't get monetized. So you'd have to suffer me for the voiceover. The denim pants, as they call it, nylon pants, and army gear. You know, you don't see. Oh, look at this. This is nice. Wow. Anyway, you don't see much army gear on the streets, but look at these Carhartt overalls. I actually found them. I know they're a big thing on TikTok. All over the TikTok, everyone's going about Carhartt this and Carhartt that. But to be honest, in England, you can find them all the time. Sometimes I think maybe they're different pieces. Like, you know, American versions is probably better made because that's where his home, you know, is. So yeah. I actually spotted these jumpers, which I normally use for making my own designs, and I thought they're quite interesting, but obviously these were like cheap stuff, so I personally like using really nice materials for my stuff that I make, so they weren't any good. Back to the Levi jeans. Nothing unusual, nothing interesting, so I kept on going. Jackets, some interesting. Oh, it's North Face. Okay, this is £15. Interesting, isn't it? It's wool though. I will know that. Basically, I wanted to leave this video unedited, like a walkthrough, so you can actually see that. Now, there's some nice vintage pieces up there. Some of them sports jackets are really nice. As I was saying, I wanted to leave this video unedited, so you get a raw look. And oh wow, this is literally a jacket stitched onto a pair of jeans made into a skirt. Pretty cool though. Yeah, wanted to leave this video unedited so you can just see, exactly what it's like to walk around these shops. But what I've noticed is they turn the music up now, so they know a lot of people come and film, so probably, so they don't get monetized or don't get any credit or something. They don't do it in a bad way or anything like that, but I think that's the reason for it, because they don't mind you filming. Some shops do have like signs up, don't film please. Oh, I thought I found an Evisu shirt there. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Yeah, they love the tracksuit tops. You can find some amazing Adidas vintage pieces around these vintage stores. You just gotta look carefully, but as you can see, all the items are pretty clean. There's no smells, no stains. They are all in really, really good condition. So online store says it's open, but it doesn't apply to EU, Europe. It only works in America and countries which are not in Europe, because that's the English government for you. So once again, pair of Carhartt overalls. Now these are quite nice. If these were like denim, I'd wear them, but because they're like a purpley sort of denim, they don't really look all that good. So they are £50. Nice color. So finally, I thought I found a pair of Levi's, but £60. These were like £60, these overalls. Look at that big pocket at the front. That looks sick, to be honest. I keep telling her to buy a pair of overalls, but we don't seem to be finding any. When you look for some, you don't find them, and then when you don't look for them, they just pop up. So obviously she didn't like these, so she wasn't best impressed with them, but let's move on. I know I don't normally do these kind of videos often, but I think they're quite interesting. So if you like what you see, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out, doesn't hurt you. So if you like it, leave a like please and subscribe. I have plenty of footage from all the second street stores where you can find all the rare Jordans and everything else. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, go back a little bit back in time, and then you can find some of the videos I posted last year from Japan. I know some of you said, I should be doing like a walkthrough, so here I am doing a walkthrough. Yeah, Next week I'll post them out, so they should be fun. I mean, you'll see all the really good gear, like the Louis Vuittons and the collabs and Adidas, Gucci's and all that stuff if you're interested. If this is more your style, then you know, I've got plenty more of these to come as well. So yeah, hope you really enjoyed it as much as I did walking through this. To be honest, I mean, I'm used to this. I see them all the time. I go out shopping all the time into second-hand stores and vintage gear. But here in Japan, you can find certain items which you can't really find anywhere else. So that's the good thing, I guess. You know, designer gear is not, you know, they haven't got as much designer gear as they have in other stores like Second Street. When I say designer gear, I mean like, you know, Supreme, Louis Vuitton, Gucci and stuff like that. They probably would have some Gucci or Louis Vuitton that are vintage, but they wouldn't be like the normal brand new items that you'd find like used or second hand. Like this shirt here. I mean, who would wear that? It looks like it's made out of a pair of curtains. This is like the fancy dress section, you know. You know, I laugh and laugh, but some of these people wear some mad crazy stuff on the road. You know, this, how is this iceberg? This used to be like a big brand iceberg. Or is it Moschino? Or is it Moschino? Moschino. I mean, Now let's get back to these Louis Vuitton cases. You know, she just asked me if I've actually seen these, and I said no, but obviously I have seen them. So the real good thing in Japan is that nothing is really tied up because there's no thieving in Japan. No one nicks out of stores. So looking at those two trainers over there, when you get the actual little wire, that's nothing to be stolen. That's just there for a purpose. So none of these items are tied up or anything else. They're just so they don't get lost. However, you know, those suitcases right there, my missus is saying to me we need them, so I'm having to disagree, to be honest, for a couple of grand. Nice stuff. I don't think I could actually travel with them, because one, I'd be worried, and two, if you put them on a plane, that's it, they're gone, aren't they? Right, this dress, I actually suggested to buy this for her. I don't really know if I was joking at the time or not, but then I actually thought it looked quite nice. She's just said to me, where am I going to wear it? So I said, I don't know. Wear it around the house. Sorry, I had to dub this because it's in a different language, but you know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will leave you looking at this lovely couch, which was filled with teddy bears and was sitting on a carpet made out of denim. This was actually wicked. They were stitched on there. They weren't just put on there or stuck. They were actually stitched into the material. I actually thought that was a really nice idea. Anyway, catch you next time. Ciao for your next video. Anyway, see you next time. Hope you enjoyed your video. Bye bye.